So there's apparently a lot of gay people in Canada. At least that's what I've come to understand based on this back-forth correspondence between a UFC champ, Sean Strickland, and some Canadian reporters. If I was a reporter and I arrived at a UFC fight, I probably wouldn't be grilling the fighters over anything other than who they were fighting. But these activists turned reporters wanted to assert themselves as allies to the gay community and to question Sean Strickland regarding his views on LGBTQ topics. Take a listen.
We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said if I had a gay son, I would think I'd...
Oh, look, another. I'm saying to you, the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and someone says...
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
Have you had the chance to interact with a more diverse
crowd of...
Let me
know, are you gay?
Can I get an answer?
Well, no, I'm asking, this is the part of, are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, you had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau. Like, when he sees the bank accounts, like, you're just pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone, and has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid like that, go yourself. Move the on, man.
I feel like that really answered the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what, and will know what they stand for. Are you?
This guy's like, hey, this Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was and now all of a sudden, people like you have weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your bull you're peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Chicks have... The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the enemy. You want to look at the enemy to our world? It's that right there, asking these stupid questions.
Wow. You don't often see that. And when you do see it, it does tend to be at a UFC fight. I will say that. I've been very vocal about the fact that I'm friends with and just a huge supporter of Dana White and everything that he's done. And I want to talk about what Sean Strickland is saying, really just as an overarching topic. He describes that reporter as an infection. At the top of the show, I was speaking to you about how it's going to take women that are not cowards to stand up and fight for the things that matter for women. And similarly, it is going to take men that have a backbone to stand up and fight for true masculinity. And when he describes that reporter and his cowardice as an infection, I feel it. That I actually believe that what we are suffering from in this society is just tremendous cowardice. People that are so fearful of not being liked, are so fearful of having a bad headline written about them, are so fearful of not being accepted amongst a certain crowd that they will say things that they know to be untrue, right? And at the moment that you say something that you know to be untrue, you become an utter weakling. I believe that. You become useless. You actually start helping to build a society that is going to harm you eventually. I know that's difficult, especially for women to hear, because it is in our nature, I think, to be nurturing. It is in our nature to not want to hurt somebody's feelings. That's what makes us such great mothers. It's what makes us such great parents is, oh, well, how does this person feel? It's the reason why we aspire to fields like nursing, right? We want to take care of people. But it's very obvious now that those aspects of femininity have been hijacked for harm, right? And so what he is saying there is that this reporter's unwillingness to just be honest and say the truth, right? To say what he actually thinks about things is why we live in a society where terrible things can happen. And I feel that. I feel that on a spiritual level. And so, of course, these reporters decided, what are we going to do about this? Like, this guy just keeps saying whatever he thinks, whatever he believes to be true. What are we going to do about the fact that he says that he wants grandparents, that he wants to have grandchildren, pardon? So they went to go find the CEO. They went to go find Dana White. This is Karen management, right? I'm going to report you to Dana White. I'm going to ask him why on earth he allows you guys to say these things. We must censor your speech. And here is how Dana White responded to those reporters.
Like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash?
Like...
Free speech. Control what people say. Gonna tell people what to believe. Gonna tell people... I don't tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
Understand, based on this back and forth correspondence between a UFC champ